Mike's Daily Podcast.
No Monday show. I did not do a show yesterday, so I don't know how daily this Mike's Daily Podcast thing is, but it did not happen on Monday because my job took precedent and I had to do some stuff. There was a lot of stuff out of control. Technical things that I had to fix. But I want to thank all the emails I got and all the text messages I got.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
All the phone numbers the people that called the phone number 336 Daily. Thank you.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And all the emails at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. Yeah. Not a single person texted me or called me or emailed me. Meh. That's how it is when people don't listen to your show every day, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know the demographics. I don't know the analytics. And it's a mess. It's 1685
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And we are happy to be here on a Monday because I had to tell you,
Mike's
it's a mess.
A mess.
Daily
It's a mess.
Mess.
Podcast.
What I was saying.
Yeah.
1685, the last show was called Birdhouse. And I got to see my friend Matt Jason, who inspired me to name the show Birdhouse. Matt Jason and I worked together in Ventura, California. We did a show on Hey, the country station, at night, at 7 o'clock at night. We were called the Homework Club, or Homework Helpline, or something like that. And Matt would be there, and he was my young 18-year-old intern who would answer the phones, and we would put the calls on the air, and he'd answer their math problems. We were like trying to help kids with their homework. That wasn't my idea. It was the late Mark Hill's idea who came up with that. But hey, look who's here. Hello, Matthews and Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. I like birdhouses, and we sell them in the gift shop. Okay, look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. We went and saw Train and Hall & Oates in concert. It was Is it really? Going to concerts? Is that really a thing? Is that really a good way to spend your money? Is it? No, it's not. Because my headphones aren't working. Hold on. Okay. I gotta wear headphones when I do this show because of all the sound.
And here's today's podcast picture.
All the sound effects. Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, I am almost 50. I've been to a lot of concerts. They just don't appeal to me anymore. But still, it's a fleeting thing. It's an experience. Oh, hey, Basil. Should we have Basil in the podcast picture today? Possibly. There was some interesting things that happened recently that I got pictures of with Basil. Oh, yes! I know exactly. Oh, this computer's slow. I love this picture. As I recall, I'm going to look this up here. When I did see Matt Jason, we met him in Berkeley because he was visiting the Bay Area and he was in San Francisco. I said, you want to come out to Berkeley? That's a little bit easier for us to get to you because we're coming up from Podcastro Valley. And he said, sure, whatever. And so, yeah, my computer is completely locked. All right, I'm going to do this show completely off the top of my head. Hey, so we met in Berkeley, and the podcast picture is of Basil the Boxer, where we were at there's that thing that looks like a matrix orb at Berkeley, UC Berkeley at Cal. And there's this circle, this circle-ish thing. And you can, this thing looks like it's walking Basil. I don't know. I can't describe it any more than that. So last night, I gave my lovely lady friend a foot massage. No, actually, I gave her a little concert. Yes. That's a song I have called I'm Okay. Can I just tell you that it is so nice to be with someone who appreciates my music? She really liked it. And let's just say Not all my friends were very supportive of my musical performing, singing stuff. But she was like, this is cool. And you know what? I'll tell you what. And she's listening to the show right now. Lovely lady friend. My songs, they're fun. But I guess what happened was I wrote a bunch in the 90s and the early O's. I was inspired. And then somewhere in the late O's, I lost it. I would write songs, but they just didn't really appeal to. I guess I was like, I just wasn't happy with my songwriting anymore. And I guess this happens to all songwriters. At some point, they lose it, and that's what then I discovered podcasting, and my creativity got funneled elsewhere. But she just it was the best night ever that I got to do a little concert for her. I did about 5 songs. That being one of them, you heard a little bit above. But so I am with someone that appreciates my music, and that's pretty cool. You need to be with people that appreciate you, I think is my point. Don't go and marry anyone who doesn't appreciate what you do, is what I'm saying. Because maybe someone by the name of Mike Matthews accidentally did that. Accidentally married someone that was, do you really need to take that keyboard with us to Alabama? Do you really need to take that keyboard with us back to California? Yeah. They're not very supportive of my little creative. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, or anywhere, up there, or cafe anyway.
Anyway.
Creativity, my friend. You can't let people stand in the way of your creativity. Creativity is not something you can snap your finger and there it is. It comes out of you. And it doesn't have to be a song. It can be something like, I just built a freaking bookshelf. I was inspired to build a bookshelf. That's amazing. That's fantastic. That's something that'll last decades. That may outlast you. That may get sold at a garage sale at some point. And someone will go, what's the story behind that bookshelf? Well, my great-great-grandfather was inspired to build that. It happens all the time, that storyline. So Basil the Boxer in the podcast picture today, and yours truly, Mike Matthews, back today in the wonderful show called Mike's Daily Podcast. And I've got a couple new listeners, I think. Some people I know that are going to start a podcast. Yes, I know. I get a little bit hot under the collar sometimes when I think about people that say, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. And then they don't. And then they like maybe do 2 episodes and they're done. If you're going to do it, be dedicated is all I'm saying. Don't leave us hanging. Don't start a whole podcast page on iTunes and Google Play and Stitcher. And then you've only done 2 shows. And you did them back in 2015 and we don't get it anymore. I see it all the time. I was telling my lady friend about this show I used to listen to all the time called Decode DC. And it was funny because the first couple episodes were awesome. And then, like, all of a sudden, the 5th episode, they're like, we're going to replay our first episode. No! You don't do that. Just don't run it then. That's a podcast. I can go back to number 1 and listen to number 1. You don't have to re-upload it. I hate that. I've been known to do that. Not on this show, but for other people's podcasts. But that's what they wanted, so I was just following their instructions. At any rate, if you're going to do a podcast, be dedicated, do it. Because you've got fans, and they're going to be listening. They're going to want new stuff. They're going to tune in. They're going to look for you on a Monday, and you're not there. Where's Mike? It's Monday. Where's Mike? Well, Mike had a bunch of issues. Some having to do with the fires that are going on in Redding. And now we're getting the smoke in the Bay Area. It's starting to come in, and people are like, oh, Santa Rosa all over again. Here we go. It's California. We have fires. Unfortunately. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because you've heard a zillion things about the fires. You've heard about the Iran sanctions being reinstated. You heard about, Alex Jones getting pulled off of not only Apple, not only Spotify. So he's off of iTunes, Spotify, he's off of Facebook, and he's off of YouTube. Yes, that crazy wingnut is off of all of that. But Mike, That's the freedom of speech. You're completely taking away freedom of speech for people. No, just for outrageous wingnuts that actually have hurt people with their speech. Hurt people with their speech. If you don't believe me, you just look up what he did, his followers did, to the poor people of Sandy Hook, of the Sandy Hook massacre. Do not tell me Alex Jones is some innocent. He is not. And so you know what? He deserves this. And you don't have to feel sorry for him because he's got all of his followers that go to his webpage anyway. And he's going to have ways for people to download it from his webpage. And he'll make money off of it. Like, this podcast is completely free, as it should be. As really, I don't know if I could put a price tag on this podcast. Could I? Let's see. No, I can't come up with a price. It's priceless is what this show is. And I'm glad you download it and listen to it. Or play it off of your player or whatever you do with it. And we are on a million different places that you can listen to the show. If you need a new, maybe the platform you're listening to this show on you don't like, there's another one you can choose from, and you can find those all at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. So the Alex Jones hardcore wingnut idiots that are following him, they can go to his website and monetize the crap out of... He's going to monetize the crap out of him and tell him all about some super secret recipe, what's that crap? Not Relief Factor, but something like that. It's a green juice that I drink. And it's all so good. It's good for you. And he's got that voice. It sounds like he's about to have a stroke. How does he talk like that for the whole show? Wow. At any rate, there is some... I am a little worried, though, because of the wingnuts that are following him. Him being taken off of 4 big platforms. Someone might go nutso and do something bad in public. But whatever. We'll see how this goes. Speaking of... Well, so... Oh, by the way, it's interesting. This show, this podcast, which hasn't been banned by any of the aforementioned. I don't think I'm even on Spotify yet. Yeah, I'm trying to get on Spotify. But because I've had musicians on the show... They're weird about that. They're like, podcasts that feature music? No, we can't do that. Sorry. So I basically can't have any musicians on my podcast ever again. I guess is the thing. But yeah, at some point we'll be on Spotify. But the Brewmaster apparently is a big... A lot of people love him. He's not on today's show, so don't expect him to suddenly pop up. He's not. But the Brewmaster will occasionally pop up on this show. Is he on the next one? Yes, he'll be on the next show. So all the more reason to listen to the next one. But like people like my lovely lady friend and my friend Kevin as well, they love it when he says, "I'll cut you." Isn't that fun? That's a fun thing to say, isn't it? I'll cut you. But yeah, that's apparently gone quasi-viral. When I was in Alabama, I was looking to buy a house because houses are cheap in Alabama. And when I moved there, I just inherited some money. I wanted to buy a house. You get sold that American dream of buying a house all through your... Be careful of that. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Houses are a lot of work. Oh, but Mike, you own property. Yeah, but it's got to be a place you really, really like. That you really are, like, you're going to stay. Then it makes sense. And that's as far as the financial advice that I'm not in any way qualified to give you goes. But the freaking real estate agent in Alabama, I was thinking about her. Marsha Buxton. Her name was Marsha Buxton. I'm Buxton! She was Buxton out. She was this total Alabama-sounding thick accent. Drove us around in her little SUV like real estate agents have. This, "Oh, come on in. There's a bottle of water in the back for y'all." And I remember getting so sick. I was the one sitting in the back. My ex-wife was in the front. And Marsha was showing us that Marsha all over Huntsville, Alabama, all these houses. And I'm being thrown around in the back. And at one point I got really nauseous. And she goes, let's just stop in this gas station. I'll get you all something to eat, Mike. And oh boy. So we lived in Alabama for about 2 years. Cumulus, the wonderful radio network I probably shouldn't mention them because I was going to ask someone for a job at Cumulus, but, well, I guess that's not going to happen because I just put it on my podcast. So Cumulus let me go because they were doing the big economic downturn, and I actually worked for a station where this guy just fired people willy-nilly constantly and just let people go. You're no longer with us. I'm going to change everything up and keep everyone on the, needles, pins and needles. Keep them on that. And so when I got let go, I'm talking to my ex-wife, and she's like, yeah, let's move back to California. And I'm, okay, well, we need to sell the house. And, well, let's call up Marsha Buxton again. She helped us find the house. And she showed up late all the time. She showed up. I remember, so the reason why I remembered this was I was looking at my Facebook feed. You know how they give you the memories? And apparently it was 9 years ago that I was going through this, trying to sell the house. 9 years ago, and I posted on Facebook, I love it when real estate agents are over an hour late. And she was regularly over an hour late to come to the house. You know, she was going to talk to us about selling the house and having people come by. Oh, she was terrible. And we fired her. We said enough. We then hired this other guy who was this young, snappy real estate agent. Marsha was a little bit older. This guy, I forget his name. Yeah, I'm going to sell it. And then he ended up having kind of these lascivious conversations with my ex-wife. And then he, was getting mad at us for some reason. You got to drop the price. Oh, that's right. He wanted us to drop the price really low. Maybe as much as I would charge for this podcast. 25 cents. And so he was going to drop it really low. And so we got rid of him. Just the real estate agents just drive me nuts. Hey, I missed a palindrome day yesterday. Oh, if you're a real estate agent, you're probably way better than these two that I just aforementioned in Huntsville, Alabama. But there was a palindrome day last week. Do you remember? There was 8118. I completely missed that. And now today is 8718, and that's not anywhere near as interesting. But yeah, I missed that. Shoot. My lovely lady friend and I, as we wrap up the show, and I go outside a cafe anyway where I bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Damn it, Mike, you're talking a lot about her today. Well, I am. We played a wonderful game of dominoes. Can I just say, as I have said about other nice things about her, we had the nicest game. I do not like playing games like these, little board games, where the person becomes so competitive and they get so mad and so... I've played dominoes with people where they throw a million rules at you. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't freaking... and you got to tap the domino 5 times on the ground, on the desk when you've got to the last one. And you can't pull... you got to pull 8 at a time, and they got all these crazy-ass rules, and it just... And we had a wonderful time with none of those rules. And she did... It was fun. I can't wait to do it again. Although it was the longest domino game in history. Because we started at 0... double zeros, double ones. That you start off with a double, the domino with the double numbers, and then you branch out from that one domino. So we had to do when you couldn't do the same number twice. So you had to go 0 through 9. We had 9, the dominoes with 9 dots on them. That's about it. Oh, somebody I know posted on Instagram how they were late at their work and they saw the trash people come through. And she noticed that when they took the recycling bag, they just took the stuff out of the recycling bin. They just dropped it right into the trash bin. As if all the separation of recycling from trash meant nothing. And they just dumped it all in the trash after all. Well, this person I follow on Instagram, she went on and did a couple of these stories, which That's actually kind of annoying, Instagram stories, because they don't give you much time. So if you want to say something, you got to like cut it a million different times, and then you're repeating. You have to see it to believe it. The Instagram stories annoying. They're really only meant. You can't talk longer than 10 seconds or some stupid thing. It's like Vines back in the day. Which, interestingly enough, what's his name? Mendez? The one that, God, I play him all the time. Shawn Mendes. He got his start on that. We play that all the time at my part-time job. By the way, my part-time job, that thing also got a crazy email from my part-time job. And it was a Monday blame game thing. Again. Why am I still there? Because I love playing Shawn Mendes. Shawn Mendes got to start on Vines, and Vines no longer exist. But they do exist in the form of Instagram stories. So she was trying to tell how, well, I talked to the people that take the trash, and they said, they sometimes go in there and get the recycled bits out once it's in the big bin outside. Yeah, right. They're lazy. Oh, and she said they're overworked and they don't have enough time to go and separate the recycling. Then why are you having the people in the offices? And it's because the businesses say to each bit, like they do all throughout California, I guess it's a law, that you have to separate stuff now. Well, then why isn't that, and this is a big story, much bigger than Mike's Daily Podcast, the fact is that the cleaning crews are not separating. And this is all over the Bay Area, probably all over California, because they're overworked. And maybe that's the real issue, is the overworked cleaning teams. But that's that. And I hope you enjoy your day. And frickin', what's the point of separating trash is my point. Hey, have a great day. Enjoy the rest of it. And we'll do a Super Tuesday show, hopefully. Or, wait, today is Tuesday. We'll do a Super Wednesday show is what I'm hoping, if all goes well. If not, you'll know that I've had a busy something happen. And you can, of course, always email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me at 336-MM-DAILY. And all that other stuff is at mikesdailypodcast.com, and Ariel's going to tell you more about it. Next show is Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!